Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm not even gonna start with the opening thing. I'll edit that all in later. I'm just here to whew. What a morning. So I'm on with Hal and Tony as usual. And just before we actually start dipping into what they're talking about, because I thought it was hilarious that Mr. Florida is doubling down on the white hate. Can't even lose and back down a little. And the lovely part is after that white hate fest and that loss last night that said, all the stuff that Tony's talking about right now, that's true. Very, very true. That is the reason that Republicans keep losing. He's being sued over. He's literally being sued over. And this time he's not being sued just by anybody. He's being sued by the parents. See, isn't all these laws he's doing for the parents, just for the kids? Well, when the parents start suing you, you're in deep shit. And not just the parents are now backed by the book companies, because the book companies are going, you're fucking with our money. They don't like it when they fuck with their money. They just don't even know they don't like that. They don't like when they fuck with your money. So they see what Tony and those guys are talking about, because that seems to be about it. It's going. They keep losing, and they cannot. I think they're on max cruise as far as getting laws in place, because they know they're about to lose, like they did in the '60s, where there was a big flip, and we'll see. But I don't understand this heavy rightward lurch that seems to be almost fascistic in nature that the right is doing. It's so heavy that it's like, ooh. But let's see what's Tony saying.
Just do the opposite of MAGA, and you'll kind of figure out what the fuck's gonna happen. Honestly, it's kind of weird.
One of the other things that I keep screaming about is the fact that these MAGA people think that somehow taking over and doing, yes, we've got to look back and see how quickly it changed in Iran, because it changed quickly. And it could happen. It could happen here if we're not careful. But understand how much they're going to take away and what they're going to turn the country into if they go that way. And why they don't understand that doing what they want to do will actually ruin everything that they are trying to preserve. But that's kind of like, it's that weird thing where you try and tell somebody that, hey, mining that asteroid sounds really great until you get the third load down and realize that everything you just worked for, you just got rid of because you cheapened the price, and it's no longer worth doing that mining quite the same way. It's just one of those things. It only makes sense once you actually think through it and do the cost accounting part of it and sit there and go, okay, yes, this is how it makes sense. But too often that's not what happens in our world. We don't try and logically go through it.
Scumbag Republicans in Missouri voted to make sure there's no red flag laws for guns. Terrorists can get guns. Terrorists. They want terrorists in Missouri to be able to go get a gun.
Why is it we're trying? Why is it?
No
forgive
red
me,
flag.
but does the right just want us to become Afghanistan?
Everyone could get a gun. If there's a dude
because that's kind of, if you just look at what laws they're passing,
girlfriend,
how they kept screaming they don't want Sharia law, but every law that they're passing literally looks like what they're trying to do is make us into Afghanistan.
That very woman with that gun, he can go get a gun tomorrow, and Missouri Republicans are fucking excited about it.
Oh, that's depressing. It's just depressing.
And you think people in this country are worried about fucking pronouns like he and she,
Thank
they
you.
and them? Get the fuck
out of
here,
here.
Ron DeSantis.
Okay, what's he talking about?
Most things
Sorry.
are going to be
I'm flipping back and forth. I'm just seeing what's on the agenda today.
They'll be aligned with a blockchain, and there'll be a because you can maintain
and see why what
relatively infinite, I suppose. At some point,
at least I'll tell you one thing that's kind of funny. I've noticed that all of a sudden, if you haven't haven't had the pleasure of watching a good TV show as of late in the news department is that they've jumped the shark. They figured out that the border shit was just that. Is that they were covering the wrong story, and we kept screaming at them that you're covering the wrong story. The story should not be that this Title 42, blah, blah, blah. The story should still be that the Republicans want this shit, and all they're doing is photo ops. But you can't seem to do that goddamn story. Just like the story should be, hey, can you ask why we are going in this white supremacist fascist direction? Just a question. Why do you believe it's the best way to go? Why do you believe that it's going to keep going and go that way and everything's going to work out to be the best thing in the world when everything says, nope, it's going to fail? You know? And I mean, nope. Nope.
I'm telling you, what Joe Biden should do is what he should do is call a press conference, not a press conference, but a national message. He should cue in on all the fucking networks. He should take over the airways for the networks. He should sign an executive order right now. Right now. Fuck 2 weeks from now. Fuck the Treasury.
It will crack.
Fuck House Republicans.
14.
Fuck the negotiation. What Joe Biden should do is sign an executive order that he's using the 14th Amendment to get rid of the debt ceiling. That's what he should do. Fuck.
People saying the same thing.
Just
even in legal scholars, they're
what the fuck
they're looking through the 14th, going,
go.
It's only because it's already spent, and all he has to do is say no. You continue to pay until because it's already spent.
About the assault weapons ban in Illinois.
It's crazy.
Hey, you 2A bros. How's that Supreme Court that Trump got you going?
Yeah, thank you.
How's it going for you? How's that going over there?
Thank you. I got to admit, Tony,
to put an injunction.
It's the unfortunate part that we couldn't, because we've got plenty of them now. There's plenty of Tonys out there, and we got 2 and 3 shows a day now.
I know it feels like
TNT,
the media sells
they're out there,
Trump
and
isn't selling shit that the country is.
I agree with Tony on them too. They're just and how they're just idiots.
Lie.
They're doing it for the money. They're not doing it because they care about the country.
Fucking lie. Most people in this country don't agree with this nonsense.
Thank you.
And they
it's
don't
another
want
thing
the
I keep saying. If you guys would stop cheating, stop filling the pool in, and understand one simple thing. When you make the environment more inviting, more people want to come to that environment. Yes, I know I'm giving the old adage of honey and the fly and blah, blah, blah. Don't care. I'm just saying, if you don't understand why you're having a problem with birth rates going down, understand what you're trying to get people to come and live in. Understand the shit that you're trying to force these women to bring children into. But see, that's the problem. It's a bunch of old white dudes who don't seem to be able to understand. No, stop it, old white dudes. Please stop. Please stop.
You need to go watch or listen to it.
Oh, boy.
You really should go watch it.
Her articles of impeachment are going anywhere, do you?
At one point, I was laughing.
Oh, she's trying to,
Actually, that shit has legs.
Marjorie Taylor or MTJ. What do we call her now? Because I thought the green part was, is it Marjorie Taylor? Is it Marjorie Green? Is it?
The point is this.
Let's say she was successful and swiftly, because these people are so pissed and they would just pass it right away, which they do, whatever.
It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Not gonna happen. You're gonna like Biden's choice better.
All the time I get to say, I told you.
Right. That's the other problem you've got. You remember, these are still Trump's folks.
People are dumb.
These are Trump's picks still in a lot of these offices.
Articles of impeachment against impeachment.
Impeach him. You know what? You're impeaching your own people.
I'm gonna do it.
I guess you're so.
Voters
I don't
like him.
Thank you. I don't like him. I don't like him.
Fucking Christ, Ron.
Thank you.
Good Lord, just get in the race, man. I want you in the race. Let's do this.
Please get in the race. Please, please, please.
Let's do it,
He is so
buddy.
plastic. I can't wait. I think it's going to be just this hilarious run.
The MAGA ideology is losing.
To the
why is
floor,
it's
to the basement.
Maybe 12% of the country. Maybe. And yeah, they're dragging along another 12, 15% with affiliation because those people are still voting for Republicans, even though it's gross and they feel gross. But folks, I'm telling you, I know it doesn't feel that way, but more and more people are going, it's enough.
Thank you. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what? Where I got convinced that maybe, just maybe they have gone too far.
That's right.
Was the other day I was actually watching, and it was not one of the TV stations in the regular day. It was one of the independent people going around. And, you know, it's just, he went up to a number of people and a number of and I mean, this was a small town little place where a number of the older women with their husband in tow would interview the husband, and he'd be like, yeah, well, yeah, I'm okay with it. Then they'd go to the wife, and she's like, no, they're going too far.
I know this is going to happen.
2 or 3 times I saw an interview like that where it was like, nope, no, hold on. No, they're going too far.
Gathering up the information to show where the new ones are going to be.
And when you got a wife standing there in a voting area saying, no, I disagree with my husband right here. I'll tell him right in front of your face. No, they're going too far. Dudes,
I'm telling you,
you lost a huge group of people. Because a lot of those women are moms. And a lot of their moms is going to be going, hey, you kids, you already charged up as it is because they trying to take this shit away from you. You know that, right? They trying to take this shit away from you. So as they try and take this shit away from you, you got to make sure not only that you make sure you do everything you can to make sure you can vote, meaning they're going to do shit to you in school. So if we have to, we will make sure you are home. If we have to, we will make sure you can get absentee. We will make sure we are, you know what I mean?
Democrats are
for your enjoyment.
If the Republicans really wanted to win, they would actually encourage everybody to be voting. Because even in the most liberal places in the world, when you get to 90 and 98% voter participation,
is there any chance?
Sorry, even conservatives win.
Raise taxes on the wealthy.
You may not love it, but what you don't get is usually the overt conservatives going nutso like ours are doing.
Grown from the fucking Mogladites.
But you still get conservatives winning.
Raising taxes on the wealthy.
Maybe not going nutso on their win. Maybe not trying to take over the world on their win. But they still win.
He's making this shit up.
Oh, dude, I wish you'd stop using white supremacist Twitter for your daily run through of what's popular. There's something called Google Trends, Bing Trends. I believe Bing has a trend too. Doesn't Bing have a trend?
It is costing them a lot, and we should continue.
Does it? Hold on, I got it wrong. Yes, if you're going to use Bing Trends, I think you are. Hold on. Does Bing have a? Ooh, sorry about that. Right in front of him. I'm just trying to figure out. Hold on, let me get over here. Does Bing have a?
Like this Elon thing. He did this interview. We're going to show part of it. He's trying to say what the anti-Semitic remarks that he had towards George Soros wasn't anti-Semitic because he believes they aren't.
Oh, wait. See, it does kind of change how.
Yeah, a lot of Americans may not be paying attention. We're not dumb. But the longer the
hold on, I want to see.
Americans don't even really know who Elon Musk is, folks. They don't know.
I'm told Trent Reznor.
I know. Think they do.
Knocked Marilyn Manson the fuck out.
Really is. They don't know what these people are actually doing to them. Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans, they're doing a top line 22% reduction in their supposed budget to raise the debt ceiling.
But they're gonna fight in celebrity death match. I'm taking
frankly. The 22% top line is going to affect their.
I just want to see if it comes up with
them the most, because most federal dollars
portion of 9 Inch Nails' music
goes to red states,
and I love the fact that he
in exchange
New York City apparently
for money. Blue states are the ones who pay more federal dollars than they receive. They have more of it. Red states don't. So a top-line reduction at 22% is going to decimate rural areas.
Or you could actually get a little too much into just what is.
Make sure that the wealthy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I gotta go. Okay.
Continue to get their tax cuts.
Wow, that's annoying. Okay, so I wouldn't use them.
In the rural areas.
And then got back together. I'm just saying. That's
and I know it doesn't feel like those people in those areas will ever wake up. But I'm telling you, little by little, yes, it's going to take.
I'm just going to, just for a second here. Sorry, just for a second.
Undo this madness.
Because I want to see what's actually going along in the belly of the beast as to what people are really.
Colorado Springs.
There goes Cage.
Another major loss.
We cannot relent.
Independent candidate.
It is time to lean into our democracy. It's time to engage. The 2024 election is now on.
Okay. Formula One, Manchester City,
Colorado Springs.
Sports, junior sports. So yeah, basically,
reflection of America that we want in those.
Wow, the Meghan and Harry car chase
they're flippable.
is number one. Somehow, a car chase being number one in America. How does that not surprise me?
We can't stop.
And Nicolas Cage is number two. Okay, what the fuck is wrong with America?
Loud and proud, real and raw.
I'm sorry.
Not two of them, not one of them, not a single fuck to give here on the Tony Michaels podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube.
Sorry, let me take Tony down and bring
Hundreds of people are applauding.
Sorry. It gets out. It's this. Okay, hold on. 24 hours.
Louis,
daily searchables.
Anderson, CK.
Johnny Depp. What the fuck is wrong with us?
Got on camera and taunted the entire cast.
I'm sorry. It's just
Real Housewives shit.
Oh God.
Don't care.
The crap we search for.
Ladies and gentlemen. Jeffrey Epstein moved $270,000 for Noam Chomsky and paid $150,000 to Leo Botstein. The two academics have confirmed.
Moved? What does that mean?
Epstein, okay. Chomsky explained that he asked Epstein for help with a technical matter.
Moved.
That he said involved the disbursement of common funds related to his first marriage. My late wife died 15 years ago after a long illness. We paid no attention to financial issues, he said in an email that CC'd his current wife. We asked Epstein for advice. The simplest way seemed to be transfer funds from one account in my name to another by way of his office. Chomsky said he didn't hire Epstein. It was a simple, quick transfer of funds.
Huh?
To what? Avoid
$270,000?
What? What a weird fucking thing that you figure out what Chomsky was doing with James Dale Davidson and Robert Kephart from Right Wing Human Events on the board of the Anti-Tax National Tax.
I'm sorry. Some of this shit is just so janky. It's because these people are just evil. It's when you lose. Just so much about it is so. You can't.
You have to resubscribe every single.
You let him go through your Twitch and your Twitter, and please subscribe to these guys. But it's just how do you get to this level of deplorability?
Wait for us to monetize here on the Tony Michaels.
That's dependably deplorable.
It doesn't cost you.
I mean, literally, where the stories keep coming that you're deplorable.
Really cool. It's actually really a very, very.
And you still try and cover up that deplorability
for a show like this to monetize. So I appreciate all the support over there. And
means built better.
She's been gifting subs as well.
Oh my God! Sorry.
On Twitch.
You need to go back down.
And
sorry, I don't understand why it did that one. Let's bring him back up.
Showing up every single day.
And him a little bit further up
on Twitch
because this is crazy.
Over there, some love too. Everyone, stick around.
How do you have okay?
We'll be back.
Now I know for a little while,
what the fuck?
For like a megasecond, a millisecond. Hold on, I want to.
Noam Chomsky.
We'll be right back.
followed by throwback to Jeremy Corbyn speaking at the Marxism Festival last year. Join Jeremy this year at Marxism 23 with a lineup including Noam Chomsky and Jeffrey Epstein's Poltergeist. Nothing says Marxism like, how do I hide this money without paying taxes on it and move it from one account to the other? I think my best bet is to call a convicted pedophile who is still actively corralling teenage girls.
I'm trying to figure out how
having them engage in sex acts with powerful men, some of whom know they are underage and some of whom don't.
How did he get away with this shit for as long as he
blackmails them with video of it, and the ones who do.
Because it just sounds like he should
being
not have been able to get away with what he was doing.
Didn't.
How do you transfer $270,000?
Just a reminder that dissident
Isn't that called money laundering?
For Pfizer, and even encouraged the state to withhold social services and food from the unvaccinated.
It almost sounds like one of the reasons that Private Client got literally closed at so many banks is because once you started really looking into what Private Client was doing, it was pretty much just like really on the money laundering in a lot of ways. So the
Cambodian genocide.
Okay, hold on.
There's a direct link between these funds to that. I mean, I don't doubt that he has
from what?
He's a millionaire.
How does he move?
That he's given money to these accounts, but again,
move. Or is it from countries?
Al Capone had orphanages, and those orphanages served those orphans well, and created new families, and children who were there eventually survived and became thriving members of society. That doesn't change the fact that he ordered the death of hundreds of people.
Thank you.
Right? Okay.
Just want to make sure. You do get that, right?
Okay, Russia's actions in Ukraine are much more humane than the actions.
I'm trying to figure out. Okay, hold on. How
in treating Ukraine?
Because I know Epstein was a teacher for a while, right?
Like fucking gibberish.
But then, okay, so
I mean, I guess you can go on fucking Twitter and.
I guess if you were running a,
do that. Just just overwhelm them with tags and messages. YouTube and the YouTube team or whatever it is. You could do that.
On the idea that,
I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't. How do you move that kind of money around?
Even if I get my monetization back with YouTube, here's the way I figure it: is I'm going to say something to piss them off, and then they're just going to take it away again. So I get tired of fighting them. Really, honestly. So if you want to do like a super chat, honestly,
just super chat.
Give some
do
money,
super chats for him,
show,
please.
Some people do every week, and some people every month. You can go to theTonyMichaels.com
because the monetization on YouTube is fucked now.
It's basically the exact same thing.
It's
as a super chat. You just don't.
And it's
going to
be fucked for a while, probably.
Is the only thing. Not everyone sees
probably
that.
Until Google figures out what the hell it's doing.
Do go to the tip jar and leave us tips, and we appreciate.
Because I have a feeling they're going to break up some parts of it of themselves just to save themselves
if you can't
from being
just
totally
watch the show, share it with
screwed by
There's all sorts of
regulations that they don't want that the government may have to put on.
But if you want to give,
you get what I mean,
because this is our job, this is what we do.
Corporations saving
make
themselves,
the money I use
basically,
because I want
making sure that they don't get too knowing that they're going to get government slap if they don't fix certain things. So they'll fix it a little bit by spending a piece or two off. So don't be surprised if a
super chat, like Storm Virgil is talking here,
media group gets spun off of
TonyMichaels.com. There's a tip jar there. You can search
of Google
there if you want to. You want to give monetary support, or if you want,
but with just like a percentage that they'll still own.
Should be supporting creators
because that
unapologetically.
Again, looking at who the CEOs are now.
And regardless if it's monetary support or if it's just
Yeah, I don't know. I struggle because we look at so many of these people who are CEOs now.
When you find something
like Elon Musk, richest man in the world. Yeah, thank you, Daddy.
to be quite honest with you,
Thank you, Daddy, and years and years and years of government
some of the funniest
and lies.
chat. We appreciate every
Understand, most of the money Elon Musk made, he made off of Daddy,
don't care.
the United States federal government.
As long as you're not being,
bitterly,
Nazi.
the war is escalating.
Me and Nazi in the goddamn
by the
chat.
way,
We just might.
Yeah, I'm. That's it.
Kind of shit.
We're
Right,
escalating
Dave
because
Sanchez? Sometimes.
Ukraine.
See, for those of you who don't get it, Elon came in,
I mean,
and yeah, he has X.com. The reason he still has X.com, that was the original supposed to be PayPal.
So these Democratic
Go look it up.
I'm actually trying. I thought I was going to get Dr. Rachel Bitterkofer on today, and I'm texting her.
And how much PayPal literally paid him to get out,
This morning when I woke up,
which is what he took to Tesla to get in,
mayoral race
and sued them to become
Bitterkofer.
a
We'll talk about this. I want her to run this one. I would
founder.
Doc just run last.
Sorry, no.
Shit all over MAGA. Over these races, but what's your take on it? Have you read much into these races? And
I read a little bit last night, but I mean, just the fact that this is
It's just
you've got two people that Republicans thought were didn't have a chance, right? They thought that there was going to be MAGA overload. Right?
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
going to be
I'm
a red
sorry.
wave, right?
What-
right?
Oh, just like
Thank
a
you.
slight little sprinkle.
Right.
But
It would be nice. It would be nice if they backed up their waves by actual, I don't know, ideas that were worth a shit. That
Thank you.
yeah,
That's usually the problem.
ideas or just anything that would,
empathy. That might. I mean, that
dude,
could.
you're
That
asking
could
a
go.
lot.
That could
You're
go a
asking
long
lot,
ways,
man.
That could go a long ways when you're running an election. I'm just
Well,
saying.
it could go a long way in terms of being a human too. Having empathy to say, "Hey, I
Not
actually
being a
care for
complete
human
tool?
life. Hey, I actually care about the well-being of my
Ooh.
constituents. Hey, I actually care that that our country isn't, have a bunch of incompetent assholes on one side who are willing to hold hostage the debt ceiling, right? So
Thank you.
I
This is
think it's
crazy.
beginning to show that this overconfidence, this cockiness of a red wave's coming, and
Thank
and
you.
just
We're going to have
wait,
20 seats. We're going to
the
have
red's
30
just gonna
seats. We're going to have
overtake
40
all-
seats. We got
it's
3.
really showing you that people are beginning to think when they go to cast their ballot, right?
And it's not
Or mark down who they want. And
now.
I think it's beginning to show, right? We thought, or people said
Lord of the Flies
during the midterms that it was going to be overwhelming, 50, 60 votes, like crazy shit like that. And it was like a handful of votes, right? Or a handful of seats rather. And so we're beginning to see, I think that MAGA, that Republican kind of ideology is beginning to dry up in certain areas because whether constituents
Because it was
are
never
tired of
there. It was
lack of
never
arrests that
really
they
the
promised,
underlying.
or the lack of justice that they wanted to be against
Right.
these
They thought they had
Republicans.
more than they
Maybe
did.
they're
did
finally
have.
seeing
That's literally
that
what
they're not
January 6th
actually
showed.
going to
That they did not have as many people
fulfill the
as they
promises
thought they
or,
had.
or deliver on the promises that they said, right? So, whether it's the people not having faith in the Republican Party anymore, or whether it's because they converted over the Democratic Party and they're supporting a blue kind of wave in that way. I don't know yet, but I will say that I think that this MAGA Republican kind of ideology is drying up.
Oh, it's drying up. I think the reason also, hold on, I'm just going to pause them really quickly, because I think part of the reason that Iowa was such a disappointment is that MAGA is drying up.
Everything has to grow or whatever.
It only could get to a certain size, and it was drying up while he was president.
At fucking all. And it's
See, the worst thing in the world is
so goddamn childish.
the worst thing in the world is the best thing in the world is the camera.
At the point where
Because not only does it tell a story, but it can also lie.
now entered
at the exact same time.
Realm of.
Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that, yeah, January 6th was a huge fucking crowd. And it was. But you know what was bigger? The protests before that?
Societal.
They were much bigger. Much bigger. But the funny part was, you didn't see that in the same way if you were paying attention to what the media was showing you. Because on purpose, they didn't show you that crowd being huge.
You could say that the killing of Jamal.
Because by doing that, they actually
trying these elements or whatever. But the problem is, they
try and eliminate the power that is that crowd by trying to say there is not that. Oh no, there are not that many people there. No, and then taking a much smaller crowd that you can easily see if you start looking at the other angles. Once you start looking at the other angles, you see that, yes, it was a huge crowd, but it was also all right there. That crowd was there. It was not like there were another quarter mile of people all around and, this long parade. No, they were right there. And it's unfortunate that it just got to, it looks so much bigger than what was actually there just days before. And that's the unfortunate part. Again, the camera can tell the truth, but it can also lie in the exact same moment.
Hero's significant other.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. The opposite of a Cardi B video.
Right. Speaking of dry, untasty things, Ron DeSantis, the
what a slogan! Like
dry, untasty things.
But they're like, oh,
dry, untasty
so
things.
Focused on children, indoctrinating children. Like, you people can't stop talking about.
Again, I love the fact that he is being sued by the parents, not just the book companies. He's being sued by a group of fucking parents saying, what the fuck are you talking about? This is for us.
About this stuff. So here's Ron DeSantis. I'm going to show you two videos. First one's going to be a Ron DeSantis. The second one
I
is
love you,
gonna be
Republicans, because you just can't help the hubris.
In Florida, you can't make this shit up.
What's going on with roads in Florida?
When Rachel Maddow did her show Hubris, I remember, and this is years ago for those of you who don't remember it. This afternoon, a Senate subcommittee I remember thinking, holy shit, girl, you need to come back and do this in 10 years. And you're going to be like, oh, that show was not Hubris. That was just, I don't even know. What's the new word? Because they've gone beyond that hubris. I'm sorry. They have gone so beyond it.
I'm going to show you a video, man.
They're getting woke down there, dude. I can't handle
the
this.
woke roads. The roads are about to be unwoke because Florida is where woke goes die. Also, I'm going to show you some videos from Florida.
What I hear, sorry.
Apparently,
it's one of those words I hear every time I hear that word woke.
That a lot of migrants in Florida do construction jobs, so nothing's getting.
Not only that, but you saw that there was stuff that was coming out
ideology
the weekend, I want to say, and Monday about
ideology.
All of the agriculture drivers. They're like, yeah, fuck this shit.
Fuck you. Oh, you're not going to support the workers who fill my truck? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Right. We're going to actually have a truck protest, not fucking patriot
convoy. No,
trucker convoy.
Truckers
bullshit.
are just going to be like, we're not. Because there was a lot of, and a lot of people don't understand, because Kevin McCarthy was talking about changing all the programs, reducing all the programs like Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare.
Oh wait, the ones that they said that they weren't going to cut.
Right. But he said the reason why is because we need to get people to work. And I was like, wait, but you don't want people to work. You don't want. The craziest part about some of these videos that are coming out of Florida, like the construction sites are empty and all this stuff. There's no huge white majority that's rushing and to take these jobs. Because remember, it was brown people replacing white people. It's the great replacement. You would think that these white people be claiming their jobs.
Hey, go get your job. Go get your job. Come on.
That's the thing, right? Like I've heard it for years.
Seems like that's
about
not how the economy works, right?
Well, they say, "Oh man, Mexicans are coming to steal your job. They're coming to take my job.
Take your job,
man,
baby.
I can't let them come across the border taking my job." It's like, okay. Word. Then let's see you go to that job. Let's see you pick the heads of lettuce in a field. Let's see you fucking pick strawberries. Let's see you chuck those things into a truck. Let's see you work in the factory that cleans those produce and then packs them up into a truck and then sends them off to whatever distributor.
Or even cleans it that night. Even that's their kids.
Day's work because
even the people cleaning that night are their kids. That Republicans want to make it legal. Legal again. Legal.
Well, I will say even OAN and News.
What?
Guarantee.
We're not going backwards. This is ridiculous
in those conditions, especially in ones where they're super hot, humid, are not safe. People are passing out from exhaustion.
Thank you.
And you have these companies who are not paying a livable wage to these people, right? And then you say, oh, you know what? We're now going to make it illegal for anyone who knows anything about any of these migrants who might be working in any of these companies. If you have knowledge, you could now be fined. If you know these people, you could be fined. If you're one of these people, you can be fined.
We're gonna take away a whistleblower. Like, we're gonna make we're gonna take your shit away from you even more.
I have a friend who's in the roofing business, and he told me one time, he said, I actually pay double the price for a Mexican crew over a white crew. And he said it's not because it's a race thing. He said, honestly, it's because the fucking white crews think that they have entitlement and they don't have to work and they don't have to work hard the entire day. Like, it's hard work. Roofing's a motherfucker. Yeah. It's one of the toughest fucking jobs out there. You're on a hot fucking roof all fucking day. You're melting in the sun. Yeah. And you're doing hard labor, carrying shingles up the roof, sometimes on a very steep incline. And he said, I absolutely will not. He said, I used to hire white crews, but I won't even do it anymore because they can't finish a roof because they're bitching and moaning and complaining about the work.
Here's you go. A good example of roof. I was out for a walk with my dogs earlier today, and around the corner, there two Mexican guys, only ones on the job, and they were replacing the actual like fucking Spanish style shingles, which are also not light, especially stacking up.
Yeah, try to carry a stack of clay shingles. Yeah,
because like the idea, it's like, oh, if you had a flat roof where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna nail this in, easy, gun, boom, done. But those shingles, man, fucking one slips. Well, the whole thing. I mean, you've seen videos of like shingles going down the roof, and you're like, well, everything's broken. And now I have to pay out of pocket to cover the expense of those ones that were supposed to be fine up on this roof. So not only that, but you have to take the shingles off.
Fix a wire.
Right. Then you have to go up, clean it, prepare it, and then bring the new shingles up and set those up.
That's crazy.
Them, right?
I can't get over that.
It's probably a job that they were doing a couple garages down the street. But I would have to say that they'll probably finish by the end of the day, right?
Wow.
If not, then they'll be finished by tomorrow.
Weaponize the fact that he didn't.
Not easy work.
And use it to gin up, opposition to him in the next election cycle. Tech call, gotta go. Understood, Mark. Do it. Yes, Kevin is a moron. He's not a smart person. I will say though that even though he's not. His depth of thinking is questionable and amusing at times. There are areas where at least he will not cross. And he's aware on two fronts. One is he doesn't want this. He'll do all the gamesmanship and all the talking and shit like that. But he does not want to shut down the government or not raise the debt ceiling. He doesn't want to do it because he knows the financial impact it will have. And again, as if you're going to talk about the people who are friendly with the crony capitalists, it's Republicans, and they all know there's two groups.
There are people who
that wrestle every time this happens.
They're getting phone calls right now from
there's one group that says, "Don't do it because you'll fuck up my business."
Right.
And the other group that says, you do it for 10 days, you can fuck up everybody's business. Wait till the stock drops, and then I'll buy in. And I'll just buy that dip that you guys have manufactured. And the problem with the debt ceiling as a negotiating point is that it has become so predictable that you can actually start running your investments on it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's bullshit.
When you see this,
because you cannot. That's still called gambling.
Go broke.
Sorry,
no, Ron.
Still
you focus on woke,
and that is bullshit.
You go broke. Like you're focused on woke. You're gonna go broke, and it's killing the state. Here's an example of it.
When you're focused on woke, you're gonna go broke.
Kids this morning.
Thank you.
Here's what he's talking about. He's talking about sight word cards.
I keep telling you, filling in the pool is not the way to go.
Now, he spins it a little different.
It does not help.
But he's talking about sight word cards.
Costs you more money.
That have the words
what the fuck is sight word?
You don't know what a sight word is? You obviously do not have children in school. So when children in school are learning how to read, they have they're like spelling words. They were called spelling words when we were young.
Okay.
But sight words, because you don't actually learn how to spell like they say. Yeah, they used to say you learn how to spell.
Yeah.
It's a sight. It's by sight, right? Because you can actually read a word that is misspelled.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because you know what you actually know what the whole word is.
Actually sounding it out. Right. But anyways, they're sight words. So it's like he, she, the, would, could, should. Words like that. Words that are basic reading.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So they're
like on flashcards?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, fucking flashcards.
But the thing is like when we were kids, we had a spelling list. You had a spelling list.
Like every week we come in and be like, you have a spelling list of these words, and then at the end of the week get tested.
But they over time they realized that that's a really dumb way to teach kids how to read.
Right. Is there anything on the back side of the card, or is it just the word itself? Or
it's just a word. What's this word? What's this? I mean, I'm sure it's the same word.
Because I've seen different ones, right? There's like an image.
Right, but you can make your own sight words. Sometimes it's a sight word list. Like, the schools will send home a sight word list. They don't call it a spelling list anymore because they really don't even focus on spelling. Because more than anything, they want you to memorize what the word is just by sight.
By sound?
By sight.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that's why they're called.
I don't know, man. This education sounds pretty woke for me,
listen,
dude.
Yeah,
thank you. I'm like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we have.
I get it. Then you would listen to Ron DeSantis here talk about how dangerous
I'm confused.
Pronouns are. This fucking idiot.
Florida students and teachers will never be forced to declare pronouns in school or be forced to use pronouns not based on biological sex. We never did this through all of human history.
Why does he have his hands?
Can you just go back to the beginning?
Hold on. What is this bullshit with forced to use? Do you not get that 99.9% of the time when you're actually talking to the person, you will never use a pronoun? Show me how you speak in which you need to use their pronoun to talk to them.
It's like my ears won't pop.
I'm sorry. All this pronoun bullshit is just that. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay.
Do you talk in she, he, me, e, d? No. Fucking what goddamn language are you goddamn talking about? Where you're shut the fuck up with this pronoun bullshit. Oh, I'm so tired of these idiots and that crap.
You want, but just the way that he's like,
because he's got his hands up on the podium and he thinks that's awkward. He's like, "Is this what a human would do?" Like he's thinking.
Where
as he's
do
reading.
I put my hands? Lower.
There they are. There it is.
Like he's like getting air inside the sleeves.
Wow.
Is this where a human?
Well, that jacket's so huge.
And again,
what is that thing he's wearing?
I don't have to finish this because everyone knows where this is going. Is go woke, go broke, or whatever. We don't want our kids learning pronouns. And he's saying that people have to declare pronouns, which I would love anyone to send me any proof ever.
I can afford all the traffic.
Android. DeSantis.
Hello, I am Ronald DeSantis.
Oh my God, man! This is weird stuff.
Jesus,
right, so
Jesus.
That's so fucking dumb. Here's the reason why. Here's the reason why.
No, you don't say. You don't say.
Let's say you're like, oh, I'm gonna clean this school of all its corrupt pronouns. That's what I'm gonna call now. Corrupt pronouns. Okay,
that's what it is.
They're cleaning the school up on this corrupt pronoun bullshit. And so at the end of the day, when somebody's like, hey, you can't use he, she, they, whatever inside this school, right? And they're like, oh, well, okay, my child doesn't learn how to address people or things anymore.
Right.
So if I call you she,
fuck English, right?
Yeah, like
don't need
I see a man
beyond
like
a little bit later
Ron DeSantis, because he's not a man and he's not a human.
Right.
But if I were someone,
He
if I were
tries.
He
someone
does
in
try.
Florida and I
He
saw
really does
someone
try.
like
I
Ron
have to admit, he
DeSantis,
does
and I
try.
addressed Ron DeSantis as she is running to be the next president of the United States, how upset would Ron DeSantis and all of his supporters be?
You know what? That's a good idea. We should just misgender.
I'm gonna misgender every
just
one of
start
these people.
misgendering them.
Why not?
Just to
Like
show
Ron
them how
Des-
ridiculous it is. Just to show
mean,
them how ridiculous it is.
Her campaign,
You people
though,
are
hasn't.
ridiculous.
I mean, her campaign though is not official yet, but
That's
she
true.
seems to be really giving it her all
It is
and
true.
trying her best
To pretend.
to pretend
that she's a human.
to be human,
That
but
she's
also
a human.
pretend
Thank
to be
you.
running for president.
That she
And if
is a
anything,
human and she's
she'll be the
running for
first female
president.
president, which is pretty amazing.
It is kind of cool. That
But I don't know.
Could
I don't know if she
I
has
like
it in
that.
her, right? I don't know if she can do it. I don't know if she has the
I don't know if she.
oomph, you know,
She's
or whatever
really
you want to
weird.
call it.
She's really weird.
DeSantis,
I mean,
she,
really weird.
she
is a bit odd for sure. Rhonda Santos.
Well, see, now the other
whatever
problem is
we
now
wanna
we have to call
her, you know, whatever her name
Nikki
is.
Haley.
But at the end of the day, like, I think it's important that
Yeah, Nikki Haley has to become he.
she's trying,
Nikki Haley has to become he.
which again is a
Remember
big
that.
acknowledgement for a
They've
woman.
all got to become she's, and they've got to become he.
I just, you know, I just want to say, like, we should call what we're seeing here. This is history.
Right. I think you're right. I think you got a
crazy.
point.
It's
I
crazy
like
to
it.
think that a woman
like
would
it.
be running against Trump within the own party, right?
It is weird that two women are running in this primary.
I mean,
One
they both
is-
wear makeup. They both
Right.
wear heels.
Right.
They're, you know,
they do their hair weird. They wear a
That white
costume every
thing.
day. It's really kind of weird. So let me
Those
show
white
you
things
what
on
the
his
pronoun
feet,
cops
you
in
know.
Florida are doing. Because the pronoun cops in Florida have this bill. It's 1191. It's fucking real. This is a real thing. This is a real bill they're trying to pass in Florida.
You know, I know. I know better
Let's see.
because I know that
1191.
in Twitter you got shit that's going to fly by that you don't want flying by, and it's just stupid to do this. But you know,
House
Ron
Bill
DeSantis laugh.
1191.
Need coffee and haircut. Happy hump day. Okay.
They're going to pass a law
actually,
Here we go.
I'm going to
To allow
be small enough that it doesn't
roads in Florida to
and I
be
can get him
paved
off quickly
with
because I can make
radioactive
him smaller.
What?
with radioactive waste because they have too much radioactive waste in
What?
Florida. So they're going
What?
to pave the roads
It didn't come up.
with it.
I appreciate where
What?
where John.
So the roads are going to be radioactive with nuclear waste.
I guess because he ran around with 12 dudes and it just never came up.
What?
Huh?
Okay.
I'm telling you, listen, when you put the pronoun police in charge of government, this is the type of shit they come up with. In Missouri, I don't know if you noticed this.
What the fuck?
In Missouri, Republicans, the real first American Nazis here in Missouri, they passed a law where there's no red flags. They literally, and they went on the floor and they were bragging about this. They're like, yeah, no red flags. Like, you know, you used to be the party of
idiots.
terrorists not getting guns. Like, what? Where in the? Where
What the hell
fuck have you-
happened?
I mean, I thought you.
I'm sorry. Is it just a bunch of fucking grievously old white men who just hate?
Why can't I bring a bomb on a
And I want to take everybody with me. Hate.
It's your goddamn.
Why?
I mean, honestly,
as an American,
well-regulated militia. Hello.
Right.
Thank you. Love to see that well-regulated, because I'm not seeing that any fucking
Why can't you
place.
conceal and carry a fucking bomb?
That goddamn
Why not?
well-regulated does not seem to be happening anymore.
If I have a bomb,
That's right.
Dude, that's an invasion of privacy.
Right.
Get the fuck
It's
out
an
of here, man.
infringement of your right. And really, honestly, anyone questions you carrying around a bomb on a plane,
On a
or
plane?
on a bus, or on
Thank
a train, in a car, in a house with a goat, on a boat. It doesn't matter, Sam I am, where you carry this bomb. If you're questioning it, you're infringing on the rights, and it's treason. Really, honestly, that's. But here's the thing: Missouri with these red flags, because there's not a ton of
No
terrorists.
red flag laws. How do you do this?
Domestic terrorists.
Xenophobia is a fear of all things different. It's a panic. And by the way, I've often argued that xenophobia, this sort of fear of the other, fear of the strange, fear of the unknown or whatever, is a generalized malady or whatever, but it's not in the specific. Trump isn't a xenophobe. He's a bigot.
Thank you.
Here's the thing.
Bigots
He's a
are scared.
fucking
That's why
bigot.
they're filled with hate.
He's a fucking bigot.
Whose lives are actually
Well, then why aren't you spending time alleviating their fear instead of castigating them for being hateful then? I don't buy it.
cases is a man who is a fucking
I see
fear
what
is
you're
not the
saying.
root of all hate.
He's going through his stuff.
guns. He is violent towards a woman, whether it's wife, girlfriend, significant other, whatever the case is. Women will fire restraining order after restraining order after restraining order. A lot of times the police will come and take that person's weapons. But in the state of Missouri, the Republicans want to make sure that that motherfucker
That does not happen.
has no impediment, no check, no nothing,
no check.
no red
As a matter
flag
of fact,
on them at
because
all
then
when they go purchase a firearm to kill someone.
See, the problem is what we need is we need to get data back in our government.
Shootings, and that's something we
that's
fail
the
to talk
number
about.
one thing we need to get back. That's the number one thing we should be fighting for, is to get data back in our government. That means all police shootings. That means every single piece of data we can fucking get, our government should have for us. That includes police shootings. That includes and see, we're not, because white supremacy and white fucking men who don't want that shit counted, because well-regulated means abso-fucking-lutely nothing.
No, absolutely not.
Sorry, you need the data to regulate. But you don't give a fuck about regulations. What you care about is some bullshit white supremacy that will never, ever work and will never, ever happen the way you've dreamed about it in some bullshit world that has only been on TV in goddamn short little supplies, because that's the only way it fucking works.
The Supreme Court said no, we're not going to get involved in that. Illinois' assault weapon ban is good to stand as of now. They're not going to interfere in Illinois passing laws banning assault weapons.
That's at least good, I guess.
But the problem is that places like Texas and Missouri and Illinois, you can just, like we were talking about firecrackers, you just cross the border and you can get all the guns and all the firecrackers you want.
Yeah.
Really, honestly. And it's because there's just no regulation of it in Indiana, Missouri, Iowa.
Republicans love to talk about how Chicago has such high gun violence, but we have the most strict laws when it comes to guns. And it's like, but you're not stopping anyone from going to another state to purchase it.
Thank you.
Then coming back in the state, right?
Thank you.
Like you're regulating the state of Illinois.
Thank you.
You also have to now focus on what happens with other states. And so, to the point of like firecrackers and fireworks, I remember, going over in Gary, Indiana, crossing over to Indiana and be like, great, let's buy the fucking firecrackers
and bring them back over.
Bring them back over. Right.
That's what happens with guns. It's not complicated to understand. That's why I say,
every day in Illinois, every day in Wisconsin,
we shouldn't have gun
every
shows.
fucking
Those should
day.
be absolutely off the table. You shouldn't be able to buy a fucking weapon out of a trunk of a car. If you buy it from an individual, you absolutely
license and registration, please.
That's not a legal purchase.
Yeah.
You need it
I
for
don't
a
know why
car,
we can't do the
which
same thing
is
with
a lethal weapon.
Exactly. We have to stop.
Why are we not having that same thing for a fucking gun?
That is the problem. It's only the mental illness that is the problem. Do we have?
It is in the Constitution. Well-regulated militia.
Dumb motherfuckers.
We already have a well-regulated militia. That's the problem with having these guns all over the place.
We're forced to fucking work our entire lives. We never get retirement. We have to worry about.
If you want to be in the well-regulated militia, it's called the Army, Air Force, Marines. We have plenty of well-regulated militias where you actually can't even take your gun out. Your gun stays in the armory.
About the fucking Republican Party stripping us of all the shit that we want, all the shit that we want to do with our money,
and that's not even power dynamics. Is that the only place it really exists is that some slurs don't carry any weight.
Not anymore.
And not because they couldn't, because in a certain moment you could find yourself outnumbered by an angry mob. And normally, societally, you might be the majority, but suddenly you're in the minority. People are using a
pejorative,
a racial or a sexual pejorative against you. And you're like, oh, shit, these people mean to do me harm. But it's not because those words bother you the rest of the time. Because it's almost a numbers game, because you have decided, as have everybody else in society, hate. Okay, the hate analogy. I see. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
We should focus on mental health.
True.
True.
Therapy.
That
or treatment. So we're able to fucking digest and not have to compartmentalize and reprogram your brain to cover up any trauma that you experience. And God forbid something like triggers it one day and you fucking snap, right? Because you didn't get the proper treatment. But you have all these situations, like, again, humans, we were not built for this. We were not, we grew up kids. It's like, one of the first memories I have as a kid in grade school was fucking 9/11 and having to worry that my friends' families that lived in the Sears Tower at the time were going to potentially be the next target, right? Some of the earliest memories are of these different attacks, wars, what have you, right? Our parents, their parents,
and this is human history, though, right?
Right. But just because we did it historically doesn't mean that we should keep doing it, right?
Well,
exactly.
Just because it was
done at one time does not mean it should be done every day.
Illness. We're humans, like you said. And Storm Virgil brings up a great point here and says, "Wait, are you telling me not everyone is perfect?" No, and I'm not saying every single person has mental illness. I'm just saying every single person has some sort of mental illness at some point in their life. Their brain is sick. At some point, your brain is sick.
Also,
maybe
even
sick
if
from
you
sadness, there could be all reasons why your brain is sick.
And
people get
that's
that way
the other thing too. Is like the Republican Party and people on the right always want to villainize the idea of, oh, you cried or you were upset or you did this. It's like your body's reacting to some sort of fucking trigger that's happening. And just the idea of you seeking treatment to be like, hey, you know what? I think it'd be good to go talk to someone.
Find out why that's
happening. A couple weeks or whatever. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Nothing wrong with that. You could be the happiest person, totally fine.
There's some bullshit world where they're magically supposed to have
emotional reactions, let's say, or whatever.
It's that magically delicious bullshit world where that sky thing, that was written about in a book that was written about by a bunch of sheep herders who didn't even know the earth was round, and I'm somehow supposed to live by that book.
Things differently and say, hey, you know what?
Just because I don't want it doesn't mean someone else doesn't.
Right. Or like maybe how we did it before wasn't the best way, and now we want to fix that going forward. So, whatever way you look at it, but obviously Republicans and that party, MAGA, is a mental illness, like Angie Bailey said.
Angie Bailey says MAGA is a mental illness. Now, I have to disagree a little bit. I think MAGA is created by their mental illness.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. Okay, fine.
I mean, maybe just a different kind of perspective on it is I think the same way that some people's mental illness, because again, I'm not saying all people are mentally ill, but I am saying all people at some point in their life, their brain is sick and they have a sort of
But here's the thing.
illness.
I also believe, like everything else in life, is a spectrum, right?
Right.
Correct.
Exactly.
And there's like, oh my God, this person is schizophrenic or whatever it might be. That's like way on the other end. And
maybe you lose a loved one and you're really sad for a while and you can't figure it out. And you have depression. That's a sickness. Your brain is sick. Your brain is sick. And it's okay for your brain to be sick. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you'll never get over it.
No, exactly.
It doesn't mean that
Thank
you won't
you.
be able to,
Thank you.
feel that sickness.
Especially
now,
depression
Republicans
can
don't
last
want you to
for a
feel
long
that
time.
sickness.
Or
They
it
don't
can
want
be
to do
very
anything about
short.
it. They don't want to give you any
Depends
kind of
on the
fucking
person
mental
and your
health
brain
care at all.
chemistry.
Right.
Some people can get over it easily, and some people can't.
Go away. This is the
I find that part just hilarious.
And we're actually going to.
It's embarrassingly stupid.
So let's go back to Florida. I want to point this out. I don't mean to jump.
What's a tanky? Tankies are people who, in the Tiananmen Square massacre, were on the side of the tank.
Find a problem, and then having a solution that makes
there's always tankies.
Problem worse. Watch this video from a construction site.
Hello, everyone. This is an update. Today is Tuesday, May the 16th. It's not Sunday. There is my truck with grass. And this is a construction site here in Davenport, Florida, 20 miles from
Davenport,
Orlando.
Florida.
And this is all you see. It's 9 a.m. Usually at this time, there's a lot of people here working, all kind of contractors doing their job. Roofers, of course, a lot of noise and loud Mexican music. This is what you hear today.
Quiet.
So it is happening. It is not fake. It is not a joke. You see one contract there.
So it goes on, and he's explaining it. But here, let me give you a little. I've worked in, and I've actually done construction myself, and I've worked for construction companies doing the contracting. And I'll tell you that the reason why construction workers get up really early in the morning and they go early to job sites. Number one is because they need daylight as a general rule.
Right.
Otherwise, it's expensive to fucking have lights on when there's no daylight. So the sun.
Some places they can only work until
light.
Yeah, because they gotta
but
get
also
the lights in
Florida, it's like this time of year, it can get fucking hot in the afternoon.
As a motherfucker,
And
after
heat
11 o'clock.
generally doesn't equate with hard labor, right? It doesn't compute very well. So what they're trying to do is get up as early as possible when the sun's up,
get as much done
for it to be as
early
cool as
morning
possible
when it's cool.
until they can't work any longer because of the heat, and then they go drink some Bud Light probably because maybe not in Florida, but here in the Midwest they'll drink Bud Light or Michelob, but they go drink some beers and they be with their families and they eat food to re-energize to get up in the morning. And it's a culture, right? And construction work is a culture, and it doesn't matter if you're Mexican, if you're white. It is a culture. It is a culture. It's something that these people, whether you're a plumber or an electrician or roofer, it is a world that they live in. It is a different world than most workers. If you're an office worker or something of that sort, it is a culture. It's just different. And it's crazy to see that on a Tuesday morning. This guy's dropping off sod. That's what he's dropping off. He's on his forklift. You can see he's on his forklift here, and he pointed out that, hey, there's my truck back there.
At 9:30.
At 9:30, right?
Yeah.
He's dropping off loads of sod, and he's dropping off loads of sod to
Looks
put
like
in
we
these
may not
yards
get
that
Philip because I was going to stay a little while with Philip and see what they were talking
Florida,
about.
But I'm sure they're going to have some sort of sodded part of the yard for it to look green to sell these brand new houses.
Ukraine.
But I'm sure these people who are building these houses are contractors, right? And they're building these. This isn't a homeowner building these houses.
Nope,
now,
this is a
it may be that a homeowner has bought these houses and a contractor is building them for them.
Right.
But a contractor is building these houses and their crews are gone.
Houses, so that's
The reason why their crews are gone is because Ron DeSantis is like, I hate brown people. And we don't want brown people to work. They're stealing jobs. They're not stealing. They're doing the jobs. They're doing the jobs.
Well, because also he doesn't understand that in that state, there's a lot of those people.
On the children of those families.
The thing is, they think they're as white as DeSantis.
Easy on letting kids be kids.
I'm just saying, you say let kids be kids, but at the same time, the parents who are afraid.
Christian, your left hand. See, it's easy.
Job or whatever it might be. They're not taking their kids to school anymore.
It's not even difficult.
They're afraid of this. They're so afraid that
sex is a spectrum. No, sex is mechanically binary.
That they're afraid that their
gender can be fluid all over the fucking place.
You know what happens?
As a lifelong Kiss fan, I'm here to tell you.
School doesn't have the attendance. because the school doesn't give a shit if you're documented or undocumented.
Maybe they lose funding.
That
it closes down. You then have to get sent to another district that might be many, many miles away, which might make it more difficult for those families who don't have the means to send their children to another school.
Weird. So you're
almost
saying
like there's a domino effect, and Republicans don't think about the long-lasting effects that it has.
Oh, they got on the libs, motherfucker. They got on the libs. That's key. That's key and tenement to their policy.
So what happens to all the white kids that then can't go to that school anymore?
Yeah.
That's the other thing too.
Hey,
I don't know. Let's see.
Just the price you pay for freedom.
He's going to be a little bit
when you
better.
have guns in schools, and no books,
a few more years.
That's just the price of freedom, Gabe Sanchez. That's just the price you have to pay.
You go woke.
You go broke.
Right.
I'm sorry.
The children don't get an education. They also stay broke because they don't have the requirements to even get a fast food job.
Well, you know what you should.
Since it doesn't look like we're going to have to fill up, I'm going to bow out for a little while today.
And he will teach you how to be a man. And that will solve everything. Listen to this crazy. I don't mean to skip. And it was kind of a shitty transition. But I want to show this clip. Watch this of Joshy here telling us how to be men.
The lie is that by being a man, you make the world a worse place.
Oh my God. Okay.
So honestly, by being a Republican man, you definitely did.
What?
Right. I mean, for sure. Now, this next phrase is fucking just projection. Like, oh man, Josh, you couldn't do it any better. Let's listen.
The lie is that we don't need strong, responsible men in the world, and that all masculinity is toxic.
Oh my God, no. Listen to me when I say this. All toxic masculinity is toxic.
Thank you.
If it's toxic
this bullshit
it is
over masculine crap.
Not all men are trash,
which is just made up bullshit again.
Men are
complete and utter crap.
We've spent a lot of time fucking a lot of things up, and there's a lot of things that's like, dudes. It'd just be better if you let someone who didn't have as much
toxic masculinity is just toxic.
Like, let the women do this shit. They're smarter. They're cool. They're even.
They know how to get shit done.
Yeah, they know how. If you're going to talk about someone who
example this. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm going to give you an example.
I was just going to say, like, if you're going to talk about someone who is able to handle all of the fucking shit coming at you in life, women and minorities are the two groups that I would say that are
social Darwinists
are the people that can most best handle this situation. Okay, in terms of like just multitasking, fucking throwing everything up in the air and still being able to juggle it, I would say those are the two groups: minorities and women. Right?
Well, I've got you a great example here. Oh my God, this is fucking fire! Watch this shit. This is yesterday in a House hearing where the Republicans are talking about DC crime.
Oh, she is so fabulous.
Listen to Representative Crockett here.
My Republican colleagues
she takes a little
talk about keeping
DC
crime free. They can't even keep the halls of Congress crime free because we gonna talk about this. I got 24 seconds.
24
My freshman colleague has just been indicted on 13 felony counts, right?
God,
but have they exhibited any courage to say, you know what, we will disallow this in our body. We will make sure that we expel this individual. They have not. So what I don't want to hear is that they care about crime, because if they did, they would start by cleaning up our own house.
Thank you.
And mind our own business instead of coming after DC. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
She's like, look, I got 24 seconds on the clock, so let me just run through this shit.
Let me just give you this.
You guys want to talk about crime? You want to talk about crime? Let's talk about the people that are corrupt in politics. I mean, when I first heard her say that line, she's like, you want to talk about? Let's talk about in the halls of Congress.
Let's do this shit.
I thought she was honestly going to bring up Jan 6 and be like, fucking motherfuckers are running a mess in here and smearing shit on the walls, right? Tasing their balls. Crazy. I honestly thought that's what she was going to bring up. And then she was like, my fellow freshman congressman indicted on 13 felony counts.
13 felony counts.
Damn, dude.
God damn.
But yeah, it was, I was like,
that's what
man.
I said.
Y'all want to see the dead body?
God damn. Okay, so some people in the chat were saying earlier that there may, because I forget the representative that brought it to privilege, Garcia brought it to privilege yesterday.
Yeah. So today they're going to vote. So basically, yeah. Actually,
are they going to vote on the privilege, right? Because that's what a lot of people. They're not voting to expel
him. No, they're going to vote on whether
bring the expulsion to the floor.
Yeah, but there's also
a lot of people don't understand. I think that's what's going to happen.
They're going to vote. So basically, what I read earlier, and I'll pull up the article right here. So basically, George Santos' problem is the House to vote on expulsion measure. After months of ridicule, blah blah blah. A week ago today,
let's see what they're going to do.
Said, okay, Democratic Representative Robert Garcia introduced a resolution Tuesday to expel indicted Republican Representative George Santos from Congress. The resolution is privileged, meaning the Republican-controlled House must bring it in the next 2 days. So there's also this development that happened this morning. Which it sounds like the House GOP is going to refer George Santos' expulsion resolution to the ethics panel. There was a meeting this morning that happened between some top New York.
The ethics panel has become useless because it has been dethroned.
As well as
Elise Stefanik
and Kevin McCarthy.
Entire ethics
and they met
system
to talk about how to properly do this. They're like, typically how it's done is someone is charged with the crime and then we do that, or we have to go this other way, but we have to be very careful of how we do it. So it sounds like Republicans are, at least in the background right now, are moving to allow for this to happen, but they're trying to be very careful that it doesn't fuck up their chances in terms of how they have the votes. And so it sounds like a House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, a Republican from Minnesota, has sent out a notice Wednesday telling lawmakers that they should vote on a motion to refer the resolution to the ethics panel around 5 p.m.
Oh my God.
We also remember that Kevin McCarthy.
So it's going to be a late day. It's going to be a very, very, very late
diagram. They're doing them right now.
Re-election, he said.
Right,
I would argue that's what's happening in Russia.
Leave it up to the ethics,
or in Ukraine via Russia,
which I think is obviously a cop out to be like, I'm not going to support it, but I'm still.
It's a fight over migration and hunting territories, which is different from any of the European wars, like how.
Democrats.
Other than, of course,
here,
the modern Nazism part.
And I know this is politicizing it. I know this is what Republicans are going to be like, oh, see, Tony's saying it too. Yeah, this is exactly what's happening. Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats in the House are trying to gain one more vote on their side for this debt ceiling.
Right.
And they're trying to threaten Kevin McCarthy's ability to do this.
Right.
By having absolutely ridiculous negotiating points.
Right.
Holding America hostage, holding our economy hostage.
And we're also, understand today, the discharge petition becomes available.
And Democrats. And
today, as of today, the other thing that becomes available because it languished and it hit the 90-day mark and everything. As of today, the discharge petition becomes viable.
Dumbass. I signed an executive order that I'm using the 14th Amendment to kill the debt ceiling. Take it to court. Do that. And it'll kill the debt ceiling altogether. The debt ceiling is unconstitutional. It's a fight we don't have to have. It's really stupid leverage that Republicans use. They get blamed when it fucks up and when it fucks them every time, and they still use it. Because what they're trying to do is protect wealthy people's tax cuts.
Right.
Trying to take
they want tax cuts for the wealthy. They want your tax money to go to the wealthy, just like they were able to do under Trump. And you went
to expel George Santos. Let's listen.
Yes, you took your thumb, you put it up your ass, and you ignored it because, oh no, you guys didn't. You actually, you got rid of Trump. Barely. Barely. Barely.
The time to restore this body, what it should be, a beacon of democracy and truth. Remember, we all filed this group, the resolution, 3 months ago, even before.
Right. Remember, everything that's happening today was started 3 months ago. Discharge petition 3 months ago.
Okay, so I know the volume's low on that, and the audience is pointing out.
Yeah. Holy shit.
All this shit was started 3 months ago. Discharge petition 3 months ago. Get him out 3 months ago. It's all been languishing because Kevin McCarthy has no fucking clue what he's doing. And it's showing every goddamn day. And I hope to fucking hell our media actually is able to point this shit out.
They're voting to bring, essentially, bring the expulsion to the floor. And they're using the motion of privilege to force it. And Hakeem Jeffries and Garcia here are the ones that are using that motion of privilege to bring it to the floor. And what they're trying to do is force Kevin McCarthy to get rid of George Santos.
Right.
is what they're setting a trap, folks, for Kevin McCarthy, is what they're doing. And what they're doing is forcing Kevin McCarthy to actually do this. Here's here's a clip of Garcia giving the motion on the floor in the House. This was yesterday, right?
So Phil can't.
Yeah. This was 20 some hours ago.
So because something came up. All right, that's way better. Now, let's go to
Phil can't be with him, so he's not going to bring Phil in today. But they're talking about that, and then also, just so you know, it is
Rule 9.
It hasn't reached it yet.
I rise to give notice of my intent to raise the question of the privileges of the House.
Alrighty.
The form of the resolution is as follows.
Kind of interesting what we are talking about.
Resolved that pursuant to Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2 of the Constitution of the United States, Representative George Santos be, and hereby is,
that's what they're talking
from the
about.
House of Representatives.
Because they're not ready.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Base security and immigrants beating up police officers.
Other than the
Woo, boy, we are getting some shit done, aren't we?
Question of privilege of the House has immediate precedent only.
I wonder if I could just do that.
Designated by the chair within 2 legislative days after the resolution is properly noticed.
Well, you know what, guys? Because it's 10:30, I'm gonna take off, and I will see you guys later.
The form
and
of the
we will talk to you
resolution
tomorrow.
noticed